Good morning. Another complicated issue always leading to multiple proceedings pending disposal of domestic violence cases is that the sharehold house claim when the property was not belonging to the husband. So that several judgment periodically they say the property belong to father-in-law and mother-in-law. The wife cannot claim. All depends upon the circumstances of the case. And finally, now the Supreme Court has deeply discussed the provisions of Domestic Violence Act, distinguishing and categorizing this sharehold house uh, in two categories has delivered a fantastic judgment. The judgment runs multiple pages, and I too did not go through the entirety of the judgment, but I am hurry in bringing to notice of you because this may help you. At instance, you are already running with the cases of domestic violences. So, the judgment is AAR 2020 Supreme Court 5397. Uh, Satish Chandra Ahuja versus Sneha Ahuja, Ashok Bhushan or Subhash Reddy and M.R. Shah. Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act, Section 2S 1790, shared household cannot only be household which is household of joint family of which husband is a member or which husband aggrieved person has shared. The word and press, word shared household meaning, interpretation of legislative intention. So instead of before going through the case, so a brief history of the fact must be there. Therefore, initially I go. The appellant uh, before the Supreme Court purchased property, New Friends Call New Delhi. Son of the appellant Raveen Ahuja married to the respondent Sneha Ahuja. After my respondent start living in the first floor of the house along with her husband, there being marital discord between Raveen and Sneha, Raveen moved out of the first floor and started staying in the guest room of the ground floor. In the year 2004, a separate question was started with the respondent on the first floor of the house. Raveen, the husband of the respondent, filed a divorce petition under section 13(1)(8) and 3 of the Hindu Marriage Act for degree of divorce on the ground of cruelty against the respondent. Sneha Ahuja, proceeding is said to be still pending, filed an application under section 12 of the Domestic Violence Act, impleading Raveen Ahuja as respondent. And Dr. Prem Kant Ahuja, mother-in-law, also was made as well. So they have a lot of things are been. So the Chief Metropolitan Magistrate passed the interim order. Respondents shall not alienate the shared household, nor would they dispossess the complainant or their children from the same without orders of the competent court. These directions shall continue till next year. This was the yes. So that resulted, and thereafter the appellant filed a suit for mandatory and permanent injunction for recovery of damages, means profit, and all these things were there. The court and the court also allowed to file an application under Order 12 Rule 6 read with 151 CPC for passing admission made by the defendant in the application. So and so. Thereafter, trial court proceeded to decide the application, decreed the suit in the following manner. In the light of above discussion and other court is of concern open, there are sufficient admission to pass a degree in favor of the consequently suit of the plaintiff with decree for relief of mandate and injunction as prayed for within 15 days. So thereafter it went to Supreme Court. High Court. The High Court set aside the decree and remanded back for de novo fresh adjudication. So that resulted. Now we have to, instead of going through the entirety of judgment, you have to, I will read the paragraph precise. The Supreme Court held section 2S expression means and includes, and definition of shared household in section 2S is an exclusive definition. The use of both expression means and includes under section 2S of the Act thus clearly indicate the legislative intent that the definition is exhaustive and shall cover only those which fall within purview of definition and no other. The second part which follows includes can be further subdivided into two parts. The first part reads shared household means household where person aggrieved has lived or at any stage has lived in domestic relations either singly or along with the respondent. Then the second part is such a household whether owned or tenanted either jointly or by the aggrieved person and the respondent and owned or tenanted by either of them in respect of which either aggrieved person or the respondent have any right. This is what they have said. Therefore, the requirement of law that aggrieved person may either own premises jointly or singly or by tenanting it jointly or singly. So this is what they have held. There should be the living woman share has to refer to a living which has some permanency. Therefore they say the Act enabled to give higher right in favor of women. Section 2S read with 17 and 19 of the Act. So these all are things has been examined. Then the aggrieved woman entitled to claim right of residence in suit for mandatory permanent injunction filed against her by a father-in-law. 26 empowers her to claim above relief in civil court also. Non-consideration amount to defeating right protected by DVAC. So the wife, the daughter-in-law can agitate the suit and the suit should not be dismissed for certain admitted facts as done under CPC. Then for determining the right of residence, father-in-law can be said to be respondent, but for successfully resisting suit, it has to be proved by daughter-in-law that she is committing or committed act of domestic violence. So the word respondent also defined. They have brought the father-in-law. So they say, thus determination of right of defendant under section 17 and 19 read with 26 can be treated, the plaintiff can be treated as respondent. So the section 17 class 2 of Domestic Violence Act contemplates proceedings in court of competent jurisdiction. Embargo under section 72 not to be evicted or excluded save in accordance with procedures of law operates only against one who is respondent within section 2Q of the Act. Then they say this section order 1 rule 10 necessary party. Son was not necessary party as his father has not claimed any relief of it, but since his wife pleaded her right of shared household and right of argument can be granted, husband is a proper party. So these all are the verdicts. Finally they have set aside the order and directed, uphold the High Court order and directed the lower court to decide the issue. Finally, pendency of proceedings under Act 2005 or any interim or final cost DV Act under section 19 regarding right of is not an embargo for initiating continue any civil proceedings that regulated. Then the judgment or order of criminal court granting interim final relief under section 19 are relevant within the meaning of section 43 of the Evidence Act can be referred to and looked into by the civil court. Civil court is to determine the issues in civil proceedings on the basis of evidence which has been laid by parties before the court. Suit filed in civil mandatory and permanent income was fully maintainable, and the issues raised with the appellant as well as the defendant claiming right under section 19 were to be addressed and decided on the basis of evidence. This is what the judgment was there. So you have to work out to read fully and elaborately and assist your client to do justice.